Y'all, I just wanted to share a couple things, and it's probably not really going to resonate or really, no one's really going to understand it that much just because the day and age we live in and how often people just ignore these kinds of things. But I just wanted to share that, when you're scrolling through your phone to get away from just all of those problems, just all the problems that you don't want to deal with or don't know how to or just can't handle the stress, whatever, or you're depressed or you're feeling suicidal or you just come from a bad part of the streets or the world or country, whatever, you're scrolling through your phone, just remember, even in your phone, you can be creative. You can change your For You page. You can change the flow. You can change what you watch. Just remember, every video you watch, you take it in. You always take in something from it. You normally develop a whole attitude around it, whole mindset, whole thought process for it. And you get really connected, really attached to it. That's the only problem right there when you get attached to it. Because then you don't realize all the other problems in life. And you just focus on what's on the internet and you make that your life. But the internet isn't reality. Reality is in the real world, outside of a phone, using your eyes, ears, nose, mouth, mind, all the parts of your mind, your understanding, everything. Just remember that phones don't fix any of your problems if you don't limit yourself and you don't learn to teach yourself to be responsible with your phone and you don't actually use your phone to be responsible and get your stuff done. I can say that personally because I struggle with that. And I don't do that myself. But, if I can teach and help others to not fall into that trap that I've fallen into, not fully, semi, I'm working my way out. I try. If I can help some people avoid it while y'all are still plenty younger than me, or just recently getting a phone even at an older age or now, avoid that at all costs. That's the biggest trap of the internet. It's the biggest trap of social media. It's the biggest trap of business and corporations, is that you make your whole life about that one area when there are millions of other things in this earth to enjoy, to learn about, to discover. There's always something out there for someone that isn't on a phone at all. That's real, that's raw. Experience, learning, studying, using it, and even making your own creative difference and change to it, whatever. But the only way to really limit yourself, to give yourself a break from your phone, is having more than one thing to do as a physical activity. And I also recommend that you all try, who are watching this video, that you all try to challenge yourselves to do something that just doesn't come naturally to you, that you're not good at, that you need, that you heavily struggle with. Even if you don't think you need it, but you know you need it, you can't give yourself excuses. If you need to do something and you just believe you don't need to, or you're just like, I'm not going to do it because it's not going to affect me, that's an excuse. Every time you make an excuse, you're just ignoring that you need to do it, you need to get it done. So I don't make excuses. But being lazy is a non-verbal excuse, which I use that, which I am very lazy about a lot of things I need to get done. So even being lazy is an excuse. And it speaks for itself as a message through the actions, not as verbal, so it goes over your head. So always pay attention to yourself and what you do. Just don't get caught up in yourself. Don't get stuck inside of your head. Don't get stuck inside of your emotions or whatever you really struggle with or you're weak to. Because demons will overpower you and really shut you down and really spiral you into a bad, evil, cruel, hopeless, empty part of the world that would have never existed had you just decided to learn how to get out of it. Ask for help. Always ask for help. If it's someone you can't trust, or you just know they won't help you, or they don't care, or they just live life completely in the worst way, don't ask them for help, but ask for help. And no matter how much someone hurts you, if you can manage to help them, you've done more than all the people in the previous generation that you know of that have lived in the same area. You've done more than they've ever tried because you changed yourself and you tried to change the cycle. So if you understand what I'm saying, try to think about what area of your life that applies to. Everybody's different, but remember, everyone is equal. No matter what you think, what you believe, or what you think determines human value, we're all equal. No matter what. We're all equal. It's just that some people are taught or just experience or just don't learn enough to realize and make enough value out of their life. So just remember that if you make fun of someone or you look down on someone or you pity someone or you just make life harder for someone who's really down and struggling, you're no better than them. Because if you do that, then your behavior, your attitude, and the way you treat yourself and the way you value the world and care for it is the same as that person's living style. Whether you don't see it immediately or don't know what I'm talking about or don't understand it, it's true. Whether you think I'm wrong or if you think what I'm talking about doesn't really relate, it's true. Because you can't do anything without a consequence. Every action has a consequence, whether it's supposed to have a consequence or not. You know, if you do good in the world, for some reason, like today, if that becomes popular or a lot of people start noticing, you know, government will try to shut you down for some reason. It's really weird. I don't want to go too deep into that because I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I know that's true. And it's illegal. I don't know which state, but it's illegal in at least one state to actually donate anything for free to the homeless. It's illegal to feed the homeless. I don't know which state it is, but it's illegal. Even though they don't do anything about the problem of them being homeless. So it's really weird. I hope this message really comes across in entirety. It sounds like I'm just going off, but no. I know what I'm talking about. I've experienced this. I've practiced working it all out and really putting it into action and really applying it and really, really taking it to heart, to mind and completion and being able to put it out into words and actions. I'm still struggling to figure out how to speak to people and share it and really work it out. But I try. And you know, if you try every day and it works that one time, and then you just keep that going, you use the same way, and you develop it, that's it. That is how you do it. And that's just the way to do it. And it's simple. It's just hard to discover because So many people make it so hard to discover when it's so simple and so easy to find. It's not that hard. You just have to discover it. You just have to try to learn it, figure it out. And you don't have to go right into all of these things immediately. I recommend working up at least more than once a week and taking that time to think for at least an hour or a couple hours or even a few hours to really feed your brain. If you can think about one thing, you can really develop your thinking capacity, your understanding, your intelligence in processing, self-processing what you understand, or just your struggles. Even if it's slow, you can eventually start to understand it. So my wisdom and the traits that you have to have in all of these is to have more humility about yourself and less humility about others, which to me is what I would call courage, or being helpful, or basically being like a medic. You know, you're working harder for someone else rather than yourself because you know that the result in them has a higher chance of improving them than it would yourself. And if that doesn't make sense, there are many, many, many examples besides medics. It can happen anywhere. It truly can. Oh, shoot. I just tripped over this chair. Oof, my bad. Don't want to get off track. I'll leave that in the video, I guess. Editor, cut that out. But the traits recommend is that one that you not recommend that you have to have patience as well. You have to have patience in everything. You can't just be patient in one way and then expect everything else to work, because everybody's different, so there's going to be difficulties in every way. So that's the real test. You have to have patience and perseverance. If you can really take perseverance and patience and just put them together, just really tight, just keep it there, just like that, and just keep it every day. You never know how far you'll go. And even if it doesn't work, there are other ways you can still improve in this world. You don't have to necessarily do it for others. You can do it for yourself. You can do it to prove others wrong. Just if you succeed and go far, having more humility in yourself than others allows you to fail more but not be embarrassed or made fun of for it. Having patience and perseverance. But you also have to have understanding that any person you try to help, or even yourself, no matter how disappointing someone seems to you, you just have to remember, you could have ended up just like anybody else in the world. Okay? You could have ended up like a serial killer. You could have ended up like a nurse, like a doctor, like a war medic. You could have ended up homeless. You could have ended up on drugs. You could have ended up as a drug dealer or in a cartel or in the mafia. You could have ended in the government. You could have ended up in Congress. I mean, it really goes very far. You could have ended up as a preacher, as a pastor. You could have ended up as an emperor or royalty or a ruler, or you could have ended up making a product or an invention, or doing something in history that was so significant that it's never forgotten. and it improves the lives of so many other people. You could have made a business. You could have done one thing in one day that changed so much. You see, there's thousands of more things related to what I just said, and yet I've already listed a lot. So it really, I mean, you know, it's not cheesy when you understand this. To infinity and beyond. The whole point of that line, to infinity and beyond. Yes, it's contradictory. You can't go beyond infinity. But the point is that even when you're already going as far as possible and then you're going so far every day until you hit a limit and you're just like, I've gotten to the top. I've gotten the best, or I've gotten as good as I can possibly be. Unless you're putting in full effort and being the best that you can be, really putting in every last bit of work, and actually using the help of others, and learning from others, and improving, and realizing that there's that much in the world that you can infinitely improve, and then go beyond being at the top, then you realize to infinity and beyond just means to infinitely go as far as you possibly can, get as good as possible, and then go beyond that. And the other thing is mentality. You have to keep your mind in check, and you have to be humble. You can't think of, oh, I'm in an edit, oh, main character. You can't think of like a funk. You can't use that. You can't use funk music. You can't use random inspirational lines from other people. You can't think of video edits that have crazy filters, or you can't think of what rewards you'll get, because the rewards you'll get aren't going to be the ones that you probably wanted in the beginning, but you'll realize those are better rewards than the temporary short fixes and fleeting things that you wanted in the past. And you start to realize that wanting what is in long term and for the future is much greater and always produces a much better result. So, if y'all have any questions or comments, I will make another video and try my best to answer any of those, because I will most likely know the answer. And if not, it's either that I haven't experienced that, or I just don't know what it's like, or I'll just spend a couple hours to study it and understand it. Not like science or religion or evolution or whatever, just questions about what I've said or what y'all assume, or point out that I missed. I'm totally open to that. But if you manage to even watch this video, I mean, why would you even watch it when it's just me turning like this and being weird and just standing here awkwardly and all that and just talking to a screen? I mean, I just talked about not being on a phone, yet I'm on a phone. But I take breaks. I limit myself. I definitely do. But the real challenge is actually asking a question. Finding a question that you know is actually a question that should be asked about what I've said, or pointing out something I've missed, or wanting to know something from this video or how to apply it. If you can manage to ask or say anything, or share anything from the Bible, anything from your religion, anything wherever you come from, absolutely feel free to share it. I come from middle class, like just at the middle class. I can't complain. I can't complain about what I have. But all my life growing up, whether y'all believe this or not, I was just mentally and just relationally rejected by my family as a family member. I lived there and they were all against me. My mom was against, except my dad. And my older brother, but everybody was just against me. Everybody rejected me. When I got hurt, bullied, put down, physically or verbally, or condescended, or someone took something from me, somehow they still never got justice. I always got in trouble for everything I did, even if it wasn't actually something that bad or something I should get in trouble for. I just always got in trouble for everything. So, I grew up extremely lonely, and I only found out this year, after all those years, through all that I had full autism. I'm fully autistic, so I didn't understand social cues or how to be normal in social settings, or how to apply myself, or just how to coexist or cope. So I created all these things to ignore, cut, and just push all that out. So the streets were always always a better friend to me than a home, because I've never really ever had a home just inside. I just never had a place that was home to me. So, I got every item that I needed. My parents could support me enough growing up. I just never got enough emotionally. I never got enough understanding and fair treatment. And I got in trouble a lot for so many small things that really aren't even that bad. I got in trouble for a lot of the bad things I did too, but my little brother threw things at me a lot. Mom laughed at me, screamed at me, and just made me work.